Well, that's a twist. Yeah. So, Deca-Dence Review 2. It's all a game. It's just a game. It's just they're just avatars. It's like it's not isekai, but it's like they're just playing like a massive multiplayer online game, but they're like mechas transforming into kind of Borderlands characters fighting with humans. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it was definitely implied last episode. We did the first impression there, and I was thinking that there was clearly something strange. It was very clear the last second or so they showed this mecha people, right? And I was like, okay, so they did something else. It's kind of aliens, maybe they're sending the monsters. And then this episode just completely reveals that nope, they're just like playing a game basically. So yeah, we gotta see the like UI stuff. They're this vision instead. They're like an avatar and they have level and stats and they're playing this game, fighting these monsters, and it's all a game. Nothing was ever real. So yeah, Deca-Dence it really took a massive twist there. It really took a massive twist. I'm thinking that I watched it like half an hour ago, and I've been thinking now what I'm gonna say honestly because I'm perplexed. Let's be honest, I'm perplexed. I think a lot of people actually feel the thing. I think some people are hyping it up. There's some comments on Reddit and so on Discord. People are like, yeah, it's awesome, it's a weird twist. But at the same time, I feel it's way too early. It sets up for another premise, right? So instead of having like a mystery where these very cute, funny. I mean, I do like the main. I really like the main character. I like the main girl, right? So she's running around this world trying to survive, like Attack on Titan or something similar, right? Cabinari, Iron Fortress, whatever. And it's like, what's the mystery? Where are these water monsters coming from? Because basically they're whales and so on, dolphins, right? Yeah. So what are they coming from? Oh, it's a game. So, I mean. It's clearly not gonna be the next Attack on Titan. Let's say that, right? And I don't say that Attack on Titan is so amazing good. I'm saying that Attack on Titan builds up. I'm not spoiling, don't worry. But there's one thing I have to say here, without spoiling anything details. The basement, right? Attack on Titan. They have this basement thing that they want to get into to get the truth, basically, right? Or at least some information. And then the ocean and so on. So there's a lot of different, like, what's happening, why are they here, is someone fighting on the inside, someone a traitor, who is this thing, who's a shifter, blah, blah, so on. It's a lot of mystery there, right? And getting to, for example, the basement is a huge thing, right? I won't say what it means, but so don't worry, no spoilers, but just like, get there. In this anime here, it kind of started with that. Okay, they're fighting these water monsters, okay, in like some kind of desert. So, as I guessed, I think probably it's like, probably like the oceans has been dried up. Something like that, right? On Earth, and then they're fighting these like water animals that are now aquatic life that are like living on land and fighting humans and so on. And then we have this like there is some aliens up there in space doing something, right? So it's like a mystery. But here immediately, like the mystery, it's gone. It's no mystery anymore. So immediately here, it's just a game. Yeah, they're actually fighting them, and all these purple and blue humans, which was good. I wondered that last episode a lot. What are these gear people that have different, weird, purple skin and so on? I was wondering, what is this? It's basically a Borderlands character, but they have really weird aesthetics. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, they actually play game characters. That of the twist I liked because it made so much sense that they have all this like weird, aesthetic and color schemes, and because as they explained in the episode, they're actually just making like game avatars. That's why you can be like a blue person with like really fat. You can be a muscular blue guy. You can be a purple woman with like blue hair, and that's why all the characters looks like that, because they're all are game characters. So it's like okay, yeah. So I like that twist. And it also explains, because I mentioned that last week. I mentioned it in my first impression. Why is he viewing her from a UI? I said that last year. If you look at my first impression of this anime, my last week's review, I did say exactly this thing. I was wondering, why is he viewing the main girl from like a typical game UI, right, with some kind of stats and so on. And I was wondering, like, why does he have some kind of that thing? Does he have like a cyborg guy? And I said that like he looks like a human, but why would he have this like augmented reality vision basically? That's like his like so why does he like a cyborg or something, right? So I was saying that exactly last video that didn't make any sense, that he was viewing the world around him or these people around him as a games, right? So there definitely were hints there to it last week, and I was definitely touching upon that. But the thing is that I think I'm gonna keep watching anime and look what's happening and see what happens. But I do think because, as I just mentioned in the last episode, we did have hints that he was viewing her from, again, a UI, right? From a game UI, game user interface. And because of that reason, it's kind of like, well, isn't it a little more interesting that we have two main characters and one of them is viewing the other one from like a game UI, and yeah, what's happening with that thing? That to me was interesting episode 1 because it set up a mystery. See what I mean, right? Now that is completely thrown away, and I do feel like that basically is spoiling everything that has to do with and kind of you know, as the viewer trying to figure out the truth, right? And what I mean with that is that maybe they should have done this faster, episode 1. That might sound strange to me. Maybe that sounds strange, but because episode 1 again has hints to it being a game, but not saying it's a game. And episode 2 immediately like it's a game. Episode 2 is like, here's the truth. Info dump. It's like info dump. First 10 minutes info dump. It feels like, why did they even hint that in the first? I mean, again, see what I mean? I think that probably should maybe have been it later, right? Kind of building that up. But anyway, what happened is that the main girl is dead, right? She's dead in the actual status. That makes sense, I suppose, to make her, of course, given it makes sense because she was injured and they probably thought she died when she was a kid. They mentioned they have a chip in their body. She might have a chip in her arm, right? And then her arm got blown, you know, in the war thing there, she lost her arm, and that could explain, of course, why she doesn't have a chip and so on, and she's deemed dead, right? But generally that makes a lot of sense because they're talking about like a system and bugs and so on. So of course she's like she's outside the system, right? And so it's very Matrix actually. So it's more Matrix than I think a title of that, right? So she's basically is the anomaly. She's like the thing they haven't done a code for yet. She's the girl outside the coding world, and you can't control her, they can't eliminate her because she has no ship anymore. So she's the one to, of course, be their messiah and, you know, break the system, right? So clearly she's the key to defeating these evil, you know, mecha people, right? That are killing humans. Because yeah, she's outside the realm of their game, right? She's not actual game. Yeah, the rest of them are like basically, you know, NPCs. Yeah, non-playable. The rest of them are, you know, outside the game world, but she's an actual human and not being, you know, part of that. That being said, though, the rest of comments, people confuse what it's being, but it's clear to me that like all the humans are actual humans. They have chips in them, they're humans, and then all these people living on the upper floor, like the gear people, they are players, right? But that to me, though, is a little strange. I have to say I don't like the premise because it means that humans, and these are the normal humans, are living in this bottom floor, right? They have all these like crazy people coming down, this, you know, purple and green hair, like fighter, you know, yeah, they're coming down to fight, and they seem to accept that. Does that make any sense to you? I think that actually to me is almost like a plot hole. I'm saying it, episode 2, but that to me is, you know, strange because she enters, you know, the upper floor with him, right? And they have these different shops and so on. But wouldn't all the humans wonder, like, why are these like other, you know, purple humans? Why are they all living in this like upper floor, right? And then they're fighting. Like, how can I become a purple human? Yeah, it feels really strange to me that everyone's accepting that. We up there is like these other humans that are basically humans, kinda. Yeah, like that to me isn't explained at all by this info dump. That seems to be kind of hand waver that the humans are just accepting that they have humans that are poor, and then you have the purple humans that are rich or something. But they're also purple and green and pinks, whatever. But you know what I mean? Yeah, like basically these like weirdly colored humans, they are rich humans, I guess, because they live in the upper floor, but they're still fighting, and they die more actually because they're out fighting. But the thing is that, can you become one of those? I guess you can as a human, right? So it's a weird thing. How was that set up to begin with? To the humans to accept it? Yeah, whatever. I leave it at that, but I think that seems a bit strange. But yeah, I like that. I don't know, honestly, guys. I still like, you know, her energy. I really like the Genki main girl, right? I like the dynamic. I do think this is predictable, though, honestly. Like, after this twist was not predictable, even though it definitely has some hints to it. But like, I think it was half-as predictable. But it was definitely one of the ideas people were saying last week. Alright, probably like games, probably like in, you know, whatever, Matrix, yeah. Fine, so it's not overly, you know, surprising. But what I think now, and this is like I'm throwing out here, but I do think it's predictable now. Because she's the bug, right? She's the girl, she's the main girl, doesn't have to follow the rules. She's the Nero, yeah. So I think that to me seems to be very clear that she's gonna be the one to defeat the system, right? But she's the only one who can actually go outside the system, and he knows that he's like, you know, he used to be this like rank a rebel guy kind of way. So he doesn't like the system, right? And his friends got re-engineered or whatever, right? So with his friend Ida, so yeah, so they clearly did something wrong, and she's their messiah, right? So in that sense, throwing out this twist immediately, no mystery anymore, and then a very predictable messiah main character, that definitely is. I mean, even though she's like an awkward, she's very killer, she's very intriguing and so on, yeah. Even though she's like a crazy, yeah, even though she's like a cray person, she's clearly the messiah. And I think that has some issues with that, because it's like, man, it's, yeah, they went from like a mystery anime into something that, this is like a very predictable messianic portrait. And what I mean with that is that one thing is that clearly all these mecha people, they are being forced though to work in this weird thing, right? They don't actually like the lifestyle. They kind of have this, it's fun and games, but there's still some kind of like forced into some weird labor system, right, which you can't avoid. So it's clearly like they don't. He's contemplating not eating any more oxygen, right? He's like contemplating like, should I take food? I don't want to live. Yeah, he's contemplating existentialism basically, right? Which is interesting in a sense, and she made him happy, so that's why he's finding something. Yeah, but still, though, like they're kind of forced into that, and also they're hunting these monsters, but that is basically their fuel, I think, right? Because they're kind of pulling up their, like, this monster liquid they have is actually what they're eating, right? I think so. While they're pretending it's a game for all these mecha people, it actually probably isn't a game. Actually, like, it's a game, but they probably have to do it to survive, right? But these like corporation leaders are tricking them. There's like a fun game, but actually they're probably like getting food, right? And they're not understanding it. So it's probably something like that. Yeah, that to me is pretty obvious, honestly. That they're probably trying to eat food by that, right? And tricking the mecha people to do a hard work because they have to actually work to get this fuel, right? And of course he's gonna discover this with the bug girl, the bug, basically Messiah, right? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'll watch it. One thing I didn't like at all, though, honestly, is the graphics, right? From Whittier Mecha. Yeah, this should be Mecha guys. Not a big fan of it, and I felt that from like an art direction standpoint, this episode, and to be fair here, I really feel it's a budget thing. That's my take on it. Like, they're doing this basically cheap graphic thing, so they can like, oh, look at this, we're doing this stuff right there, and it's cheaper for them instead of having animating that's much more proper, beautiful. Because I think it looks very good anime otherwise, right? Like, last it looked really good. So I think they have more than 10 minutes of this, their kind of the chibi art, this episode. That's to make money, right? I really think so. So in that sense, I feel the twist and why they really info dumped so much on it is just to be like, oh, we're gonna, this is gonna limit the budget more. Yeah, I think so. That would be my guess, honestly. Not a big fan of it, and I feel that it looks, and it has this fugly look, in my opinion, purely because it's cheaper, right? Instead of actually making it look cool. That's probably why, to be honest. But anyway, that's the Deca-Dence review, episode 2 here. I'm perplexed also by it, because it's like, it feels kind of like, yeah, Attack on Titan, episode 1, because it's anime very similar, right? And episode 2 is like, basement immediately. Here's the truth. And you're like, okay. Why would I keep watching now? There's also some other bad guys in the end. I guess, but she's obviously the main character. She obviously has like the bug system, so it went from like, there's like a interesting mystery here to like, here's the plot, all the plot, and also a very obvious, hints to them being tricked to play this game to actually get food. Yeah, so anyway, see you. Press the like button and have a great day.